Hi, in this video, I will show you how to use data APIs based interaction with an Amazon Aurora serverless MySQL database with using AWS Lambda. And also I will show you how we can invoke those APIs from your local system as well. As you see in this picture, this is just a pictorial overview of my demo, or just a brief pictorial overview which can explain you what is the thing that I am going to show you in this video. Yeah. So as you are aware that the Amazon Aurora SQL, Amazon Aurora serverless MySQL and the PostgreSQL provides a data API, or it exposes a data API which we can leverage that to communicate with the databases, right? So and especially this kind of feature is available only with the limited number of Aurora serverless MySQL databases. Okay. So in this case, by considering that capability, this video is helps you how you can consume that feature to to simplify your communication with the database. Yeah. All right. So so first of all, in this video, I'm going to show you. First of all, I'm going to show you how the communication happens in the picture form, and then I will take you to the real time demo where I will walk you through the code, and I will also show you how to construct the Python code in a such a way that it can communicate with the databases and try to do the data operations like insert the data, read the data, yeah, and batch insert the data, etc. Okay, so nothing but we try to communicate with the database table with using Python. Okay, so I will also show you one time from the local, and also I will show you from the with using AWS Lambda. Yeah. So before I walk you through this demo, first of all, let me quickly walk you through this this picture. Yeah. So before that, a kind request, please do subscribe my channel. That would really encourage me a lot. Yeah. So with that note, let's directly jump to this video. First of all, let's see what is this picture tells us. Okay. So as I explained, we can communicate to this database. What is the database? That is Amazon RDS. That is in Amazon RDS, we are using the flavor called Aurora serverless MySQL database with using Python Lambda. Okay, so let's say if we want to communicate with using Python Lambda, so this is the Lambda. It will directly communicate to the Amazon RDS with using the get, post, patch. Yeah, that is the the terminology. That is the get, patch, post are nothing but these are the methods. That is the HTTPS method which we use to communicate to the APIs, right? So that is where I just wanted to show you, and also we will also get a response from the RDS. Okay. That is what the data API capability is there. Yeah. All right. So another one is not only from the Lambda. Okay. So the first of all, I'm here focusing more on the locally. For example, you want to interact with the database from your local, in the sense you are opening your Visual Studio Code, or you are using any CMD tools. Yeah, that is a command line tools, and you are trying to communicate with the database. Yes, that opportunity also will be provided to this database API. Yeah, and that's the reason I'm showing you this admin symbol, so that which represents a local access. Locally you are interacting from your local laptop or from your local desktop. You are directly interacting with the Amazon RDS, and that is also the data API capability will be provided. Okay. All right. So, and this symbol tells you will be invoking the Lambda, then only you will this data API invocation happens from Lambda to RDS. Okay, that is what this picture tells. Yeah. So before I walk you through this, the next stage of the this video, that is how to write the code. Okay, how do I write in a Python code such a way that this data APIs can be consumed, and you will try to do the all the CRUD operations on the database. Okay. And before I show you that, let me give you a hint. So basically, data API for Aurora serverless version 1, basically it supports only limited PostgreSQL, Aurora MySQL, and PostgreSQL, and that list can be found from this AWS document. Okay, if you go to the RDS document for RDS from AWS, and in that one, if you see the supported Aurora features, in that one, if you go to the or this one, maybe I will give this link in my video's description. You can find this link from there as well. All right. So and this one you will try to identify in which location, which API, which MySQL version and which PostgreSQL version is supporting the data API. Yeah. And for your information, not all the MySQL version and PostgreSQL versions under Aurora database is not supports the data API. It specially supports only MySQL 5.6 and MySQL Aurora. This one MySQL 7.5.7. And also it does not support. If I can scroll down, you see it does not support the any data APIs. Okay, that is a That is a very important information that you need to know. All right. And currently in this demo, I'm going to show you MySQL 5.7, and I'm hosting my my location, my AWS location to Asia Pacific, that is Mumbai region. Yeah. All right. So that is the just basic brief information or kind of a, basic knowledge you need to know. Okay. Maybe sometime, for example, you have went to the your RDS and you spinned up a cluster and you are telling that you are searching here and there, data API is not available. Yeah. So that should not happen. So that's the reason you must select. Okay. You must select your MySQL APIs or MySQL databases according to this these versions. Okay. Under Aurora SQL, MySQL, and PostgreSQL databases. All right. So all these. So again, one more thing is this is Aurora serverless version. Okay. All right. Now let me take you to the next level of my demo. So which is very core part of this one. So let one. So here when we interact. So when I say data API, so data API is nothing but it's kind of a kind of a CDK, that is that's the software development. It's kind of SDKs, that software development kits been provided by the Amazon itself, like Python modules, or it can be Node.js module, or any kind of runtime modules have been provided by the AWS itself. You need to use those in your languages like Python, Node.js, maybe in the maybe in the CLIs as well. Yeah. And try to communicate with the database. Okay. So here in this demo we are using the Python. Okay. So if I can go back to the Python, so this is my script I have created for this demo. And okay, so now what I do is I will walk you through these operations. Okay, it has very interesting operations as well. And also we have I will also show you like how to create a especially RDS Aurora serverless MySQL database from the portal. Okay, so for example, first, okay, so as per this diagram, first we need to set up the RDS, then we need to write a script, okay, in a such a way that it will try to communicate each other, and finally we wrap that script under AWS Lambda runtime, and we will also execute how does that Lambda can also interact with the data APIs. Yeah. All right. So first step is when you are creating the Amazon RDS, then this is the page you need to come in. So currently I'm in Mumbai region, and I'm in Amazon RDS page, and you just need to click on the create database. Yeah, it will take you to the next page. So it's currently popping up. So here you need to select the the required options. Okay, so that is the main aim of this showing you these. So when you clicked on the create database, yeah, so this is the standard create. Okay, so you need to choose the standard create template. Under that one, make sure that Amazon Aurora is selected. Then here there are the two editions under Aurora, right? One is the MySQL, another one is the PostgreSQL, and here is the core part that you need to make sure. Okay, and this is what this table tells. Okay, so if I switch to the another one, so this is what the table tells. Okay, so in my case I'm in Mumbai region. Okay, so in the Mumbai region under MySQL 7.5 it supports only version 2.0.7. Okay, that is what I have selected here. If I can go back, so here if I go this one, so it's MySQL 5.7, and in that one I have to select 2.7.1. Yeah, so this is the 2.7.1. so if I go back, so this is the only version. Okay, this is the only version under MySQL 5.7 supports data API. Rest all does not support as of now. There could be a reason from AWS, maybe you can explore that. Yeah. And finally you will be giving the cluster name, and you will be providing your user ID and password of the cluster login. Yeah, then here you go. So you will be choosing the option serverless. Make sure that you are choosing serverless. If you are choosing the other options, probably you will go other than serverless, that is hosted on your VPC only. Yeah. All right. So in this one we are choosing the serverless, and I'm keeping the the size of the size of my cluster by default, that is very minimum. Okay? Because I mean to show you only the demo, right? In production case maybe it would change. Yeah. And in the connectivity I'm choosing this default VPC and the subnet group, and even also all default. Yeah, that is subnet group, VPC, and security groups are being chosen all defaults. And in the security group I am also choosing the default. Yeah. Under the additional configurations you see one difference, right? So here you will see data API option. Okay, so this option has to be checked in. Okay, then only the data API option will be available for you, or else it will not enable the data API feature on the your Aurora cluster. Yeah, or Aurora serverless databases. Yeah. And finally rest all been taken as a default, and I have created the cluster. Okay, this is the simple way that you need to follow to spin up the your Aurora serverless cluster database. Yeah. So in this video, so I have chosen dev test because this is only meant for only meant for demo purpose, but in production maybe you need to choose production. Yeah. All right. So this is how I set my RDS RDS database. Okay, of flavor. So this is the flavor, that is Aurora MySQL, and it is a type serverless. Yeah. All right. So once the cluster is spinned up, yes, you are ready to jump and try to explore the features being given by the data API. How do you do it? Okay. So not only using the code way, we also can leverage the programmatic way. Yeah? Not only the programmatic way, we can also leverage the AWS given UI. Okay. So there is a UI feature within the RDS page called query editor. Okay. So query editor is, as the name says, this is the feature within the this one, through which you can do an interaction with your database and try to do the analytics or try to do any kind of reporting, analyzing, or querying, whatever the things are, altering, modifying, inserting. Yeah, everything can be done from this query editor. Okay, this is cool feature under the RDS, and this is how and you need to do it here. Okay, so I'm just going to show you this one first. That is a using the UI based options to interact with the cluster. Yeah. So before this one, I need to tell you one more thing. So while I creating the RDS cluster, there were as I said, I have said, I said you that there will be a user ID and password, right? That user ID and password will be stored in a secret. Okay, so you should be storing that in a secret. For example, to create a secret belongs with RDS. So just go and click on the secrets under SCM, that is the SM, that is secret manager, ASM, yeah, that is AWS secret manager, and click on the new secret. Yeah, and here you need to choose a credentials for Amazon RDS database. Yeah. Okay, so under RDS, it can be any flavors. Okay, not only for Aurora serverless, but it can be for another thing as well. Yeah. So here you will be using the username and password that you have given while creating the RDS. And finally, come here and just create the secrets with the default options. Yeah. While you are creating this one, there is one more important option. You must select your cluster name. That is my cluster is Cloud Quick Labs. Okay, which is my YouTube channel name. I have given that. And you should be selecting this one. For example, I'm providing something like blah blah blah. Yeah. And password is blah blah. Yeah. For example, I'm just telling. Okay. Let's say this is the password. This is the user ID and password I have given while creating the RDS Aurora cluster. Then I have to keep the same username and password here. Yeah. And finally, just go by default options and just create the secrets. Okay. And that is where my secrets comes and sits here. Okay. Finally, once the secrets are being created, it's very important that you need to copy this ARN. Okay. That ARN we will be leveraging in the next steps. Okay. So this ARN will be consumed by the data APIs to retrieve the secrets dynamically and try to connect with the RDS database, that is Aurora. Yeah. All right. So now in this one we have to. So this is the pay. Now let me step back again. Yeah. Now again. So I heard so many people are telling like you will switch the pages very often that they get confused. Okay. That's the reason I'm going very slow in this video, and I'm trying to fine tune myself. Yeah. So if you go to the query editors, so right, so I went to the query editors. So let me tell you what I did. I will go to the query editors. Okay. Let me go to the query editor. All right. It's taking some time. Yeah. And then then once you click on the button called change database, so here you will be selecting our cluster, which is the my RDS cluster. And then in the username, you will be choosing secret manager. Okay, you don't need to take a headache of putting your user ID and password, right? So here you just will be putting the ARN of the ARN of the secret manager where your secret has been stored. All right, and this one finally the database. Okay, so when I created the Aurora SQL database, I know that is RDS SQL server, RDS MySQL server, which is a serverless one. Then I have given my database name as labs. Yeah. And that's the reason I'm giving my database name as well, even though this is optional, but I'm just like to directly connect to that. Yeah. And that's the reason I've given, and I'm clicking on connect to the database. Okay. And this is the this is the way that you can log in from this UI itself. Yeah. And finally, yes, here you go. So once if you have put the correct credentials, then only it will redirect you to this page. Okay. Or else it will throw the error for your information. Yeah. Since I am directly into my table called my database called labs. Yeah. I can go ahead and run this default query which has been written here, okay, which selects the schemas. Okay, so it selects all the schemas and of the table present under my database, which is a labs database. If all the credentials are being good, then only it should show you some results. Okay, here you go, it has returned the rows. Yeah, all right. So now what we did is we have now successfully created the database. We went to the query editor and we communicated, we have established the connection with the database, and we were also running the default queries as well. Now let me go to the next step ahead. Now I have my database called lab. On top of this lab, I want to create a table called, for example, package. Yeah, and I will use this table to do all the database, database related, data API related, invokes or nothing but operations. Yeah, all right. So what I do is I just copy this code. Anyways, this script will be shared in the GitHub repo, and the GitHub repo will be shared in shared in this video's description. You can find from there, and yes, you can try this same while you are watching this video as well. Yeah. So let me put this query exactly how I copied from there, and what I do is I will run this. Before I run this, I will let me give some hints, okay, about this. What is actually it is doing? Yeah. One is it is creating a table. If not exist, in the sense it will check if it is exist. If it is exist, it will just ignore. If it is not exist, it will create it. Okay. In this lab, in this lab database, I don't have any table called package. Henceforth, it will create it here. Here, we are declaring the column name called package name and versions, okay, with the types called, varchar and not null and all. And finally, I'm declaring all these two columns as a primary keys. What is the primary keys? In the sense, it will make sure that the data present under that column are unique across the table. Okay, and let me run this query to create a table for this demo. All right. Now we are going one step ahead, and we are creating a table which we can leverage to communicate, okay, with using data APIs. Yeah. All right. Now I'm just checking if the database has run. So let me create it. Here you go. Okay, so right now it has taken the earlier, it didn't take. So here you go, right? It tells the so the transaction, what happened to that transaction as well. Here you go, it tells that the successfully it has created a table for us called package. Now I will show you that package has been created. The package table has been created by running the command, that is SQL command called select star. Yeah, select star from table. Yeah, and what is our table name? So this is our table name. Let me copy this table name. Yeah. All right, so it's taking some time. So select star from table. Okay, table, table. All right, and then we will put the name of the table. Yeah, table, and put the name of the table, and then just go ahead and run it. Okay, it should return empty table. Yeah, it should return nothing. That is what I mean to say. So it says select a star from table. Okay, so let me see. Select star from select star from select star from. Okay, let me table name. Okay, so we should not put the table. So let me revert this. Select star from this table. Yeah, just give that. Yeah, all right. So let me run this query and let's see. Okay, what does it tells now? I will just scroll down. Here you go. Right. Yes, the table is empty, and we are getting the package name and package version, which are the columns of my table. All right, and this is the one method that you can log in with using, you can interact with your RDS, okay, through the UI, okay, through the RDS Amazon RDS page only. This is how this has been catered. This has been catered with using backend data APIs only. Okay, all right. Now we are one step ahead, and let's go and see how we can do this operation with using. Now let me close this SQL, which is not required. Now I have written a very big script. I will walk you through this script, and I will also show you the demo, like how we can try to interact with your database with using this Python code, or nothing but we are executing the data APIs, or we are invoking the data APIs from my laptop. All right. So to do that, we here, as I said earlier, data APIs are nothing but can be reachable over the over the commands, or over the maybe programmatically. Okay, so that's the reason. So AWS has given the built-in SDKs for us, or SDKs for especially for Python, and they have given a module called called RDS. They have given a resource called RDS hyphen data. Yeah, so that is what I'm doing. Okay, so let me walk you through this code first of all. So here we are importing the Boto3, and in that Boto3 we are establishing a client called, we are setting a client called RDS hyphen data. Okay, so this is the resource type being given by the Boto3 only, which will help us to consume the APIs. Yeah, as simple as that. And again, so as these are the commented codes. Okay, let me tell you what is the implications of this commented codes. So this is the AWS CLI command, which can help you to enable the HTTP endpoint or data API endpoint on your RDS cluster. If it is falling under those qualified versions, then only you can leverage this command to enable the APIs if you are not enabled. Yeah. All right, so that is the one commanded code, and here we are doing a client setting, that is the RDS data, yeah, with using boto dot client RDS hyphen data. Yeah, this is the, we are setting the client, and then this is the very important information I would like to cover these here. One is, I'm giving my database name as I explained. So my database name is labs, and the cluster name. So this cluster ARN is nothing but the cluster ARN, which is I will get it from here. Okay, if I go back to the database, anyways, we are done with this query editor. So let me go to this one. Yeah, if you click on this cluster, so let me open this one, and if you go to the configurations, and here you will get the ARN. Okay, so that is the ARN I have picked up from there. Okay, let me scroll down. So if you can scroll down, so here down bit. Yeah, so you see the ARN. Okay, so that is the ARN I have put on this here. Okay, so that is the ARN. Similarly, the secret ARN. Okay, so this is the secret ARN where we have stored. So let me tell you from where I got that as well. Okay, so this is very important because sometimes people will get confused. This is the ARN which I again taken while doing the query editor, right? So that is the same ARN I have put on here. Okay, and that's all. So this is the basic configuration you need to keep in here to try to communicate with your RDS cluster, that is Aurora serverless database. Okay, but if you think about the another way of communication, right, in the traditional days, right, so in that case we used to put the database name, server name, yeah, then the username, password, then you need to enable the ports, blah blah blah. There were so many complex things has to be in place, so that then only the RDS database used to allow you to communicate, right? That was very difficult way of communicating. And there you are doing not you are doing through the SQL client, but here you are doing through the RDS API client. Okay, that is the difference here. All right, and this is the add-on advantage that you see in the RDS APIs. Okay, here you don't need to save your credentials, you don't need to expose your credentials, you don't need to worry about the exposing your secret data from the code. Okay, it will be stored in a secure place called AWS Secret Manager, and from there you are retrieving, and you are connecting to your database engine, and you are doing the operation. Okay, which is a very secure one. Okay, I feel this is very cool. Yeah. All right, and after that, let me explain you two functions here. Okay, so here basically I'm trying to execute the SQL statement against my database or against my database table. Okay, and those statements are being wrapped in a two functions, and I'm going to explain those two functions. Okay, one is the execute statement. Okay, so here this is the function name. In this one, I am using the three parameters, basically two parameters. I will tell you the implications of transaction ID later. So here SQL is nothing but the query SQL command that you need to run against the database. Yeah. So if I go back to this one and go to the query editor again, and the command that you going to write run from here can also be run from this one. Okay, so there is a huge difference between your laptop and the AWS UI. Okay, so don't think both are same. Yeah, that's the reason this is very important. Yeah. All right, so then next one is the SQL parameters. In the sense, while building the SQL query, is there any parameter that you are going to consume? Those parameter can be put in here. And finally, the transaction ID. The transaction ID is only available when you want to do the rollbacks and the commit. Okay, so that is the last method I'm going to explain you, which is a bit different. Okay, so it's a committing and rollback. Let's say if you want to track the status of your transaction, that is transaction here is nothing but in SQL world, or in the SQL or MySQL world, the transactions are nothing but the operations that you are interacting with the database table. Yeah, so those activity we call it as a transaction. Okay, so if you are getting confused with the transaction, don't think transaction is nothing a rocket science. Okay, just you are invoking the SQL queries in under the layman terminology. All right, so whenever you are using the rollback and committing modes, then you have to provide this transaction ID. I will show you in the real term. And finally, so here you go. This is the very simple, API you are invoking from the RDS client called execute statement. And this execute statement, in this one we are giving the secret ARN. If you see here, that nothing but our RD, the secret manager ARN. Then the database name is the database name, and the cluster ARN is nothing but our database cluster name, and SQL is nothing but the query. And to that query, what is the parameter that you are putting? Okay, and that's all. So this query will help you to execute all the CRUD operations on the all the very difficult, very simple, or very medium size. All SQL command query can be executed with using this format. And finally, it returns a response. Yeah, I will be using this wrapper function around the RDS client execute statement function down the line. I will show you those demos as well. Finally, we have one more very important function called batch execution. Okay, so as it says, the batch execute underscore statement, in the sense, if you want to execute the batch statement in a one shot, okay, and this is the function that you can leverage. Okay, here it also follows the same parameters, and the here only one changes. You will see here the API name, that is batch underscore execute underscore statement, is the API that you are going to consume here, whereas the rest parameter will stay as same as earlier. And finally, we are doing the response. Yeah, all right, so this much is the code walkthrough. Now we will go one after the other, and I will show you the scenarios. Okay, the first one, let me show you the uncommented part. First one, okay, as I was saying earlier, committing and rollback. Okay, so for example, you want to do all the transaction in a very secure and safe, all should be tracked. Okay, so in this case, maybe you can use this committing and rollback. So as the namespace, in the sense, you are trying to do one transaction against your SQL database table. Let's say if it is failed for some reason, okay, for example, data is invalid, or the cluster is unavailable, blah blah, whatever it cases would be. Okay, but generally the data is invalid. Yeah, for example, so in such cases, maybe this is the best type of code that you need to put in our APIs, which can help you to do manage the transactions and do the rollbacks when there is an error. Okay, and this is what you will going to, this is what the code you're going to follow. Okay, first of all, I'm here what I'm doing is, we are keeping a transaction. Okay, so we are creating a transaction here with using a API called begin underscore transaction. Okay, this is again an API under RDS client, and under that API, so when you are invoking this API, is nothing but it's a function. Okay, in general. Yeah, so to that API, to invoke that API, we are giving certain parameters. One is the secret ARN, the resource ARN, that is a cluster ARN, and the database. Yeah, and finally this transaction is been kept, and that will be used down the line. Yeah? Okay, now what I'm doing is, we are as the namespace, for example, you want to insert a batch. Yeah, you want to insert the not only one row. Okay, you want to insert the 10 rows in a one shot. How we can do that? We can do that with using the following method. Okay, so here I'm using the traditional insert query, insert SQL query, that is insert into this table, that is a package is my table, and these are the column names, package name and the package version, and the values are, this is the values. Okay, and those values are been referenced from this. Okay, so if I select this has been referenced from here. Yeah, all right, and for that, what I'm doing is, as I said, this is a batch insert. We are creating the array of hash table. Yeah, we are creating a array of we are creating the we are creating the array of hash table. Yeah, so that is where if you see here entries. Okay, so under each so let me tell you, before I explain this scenario, this is called as a parameterized based inserting into the SQL database or MySQL database. Okay, so this is this way of invoking the insert query against your RDS database is nothing but it's a parameterized SQL query based insertion. Okay, and here one more level, that is a batch insertion. Okay, and for that case, what we are doing is, for each record we are creating the array of two dictionaries. Okay, in Python terminology, we are creating a list of two dictionaries, and one dictionary will have a key called name and value called, again, key value, this is a name and value pair, and in this one the name will be the column name and the value will be the respective value of the column. Similarly, since one record will have the two in our table we have one record will have the two columns. Okay, and that's the reason these two column names are being put on here and the respective values are being captured here. Yeah, Since this is a demo, we are creating the value something like dynamically. Yeah. For example, we are creating the package 1, version 1, package 2, version 2, something like that. Okay. Since it is, we are using a for loop here. So here the value starts from 30, 31, 32, something like that. Okay. So it is package 30, version 30, package 31, version 32. Yeah. Something like that. Okay. It will try to generate the 10 records. Okay. It will try to generate the 10 records, and those 10 records will be dumped into this table in a one shot called as a batch execution. And finally, if you see here, these entry, this is the array of dictionaries will be appended into the another array called another list called this SQL parameter set. Okay, and that is where we are doing it here. Yeah. And finally we are executing the above code called batch execute statement. Okay, and here we are giving the transaction ID. Yeah. All right. And finally, as the namespace, we are tracking the transactions. Okay. For example, let's say there is an error happen. Okay. So in that case, we are using the rollback command. Okay. Rollback. For example, there is the insertion does not happen for certain cases. Okay. For example, the values is wrong or something happened. Yeah. Among the batch, there could be some something like invalid records that you are inserting in a batch, right? So in that case, there could be error happen, right? So in that case, you need to catch those exceptions and do a rollback of those data. Okay. So that's the reason this rollback transaction is doing for you. And in this API, we are giving the parameter like secret ARN, resource ARN, and the transaction ID. The only difference here is you are giving the transaction ID, which has been captured in the initial line, that is like the line number. Yeah. So here is where the transaction ID we are capturing from here. Okay. So now yeah. So that is where this is the block which will do the rollback. Yeah. For example, there is no exception. Okay. So in that case we are committing the value. As simple as that. Yeah. So how are we committing? We are invoking the API called commit underscore transaction, and we are putting the values, including transaction ID, secret ARN, and the resource ARN. That is our cluster ARN. Yeah. And finally, I am printing the number of records being put into the table in using the batch execution. All right. Okay. So this is the basically code walkthrough of how we can do the batch insertion with rollback capability being added in the code. This is how the code will be look like. Now, before you execute this code, you have to set up a context. Okay, so for this case, what I do is I'm going to set my context with using AWS CLI. I have my system installed with the AWS CLI. That's the reason I'm invoking these commandlets. For example, in your case, if you don't have this installed, maybe you need to install the AWS CLI first, then try to execute this command. It will work. Yeah. So I'm doing the AWS configure. Yeah. Again, and based on the whatever a task, I am going to provide the secret ID and passwords. Yeah. All right, and then we will set the context, and then we'll try to execute the query. Okay. So while it loads the data, so it taking some time. So here you go. Right. It is asking access key ID, secret. Then this is the reason, which is the AP South 1. Yeah. Which is nothing but Mumbai. And then finally data output in the format of JSON. And that's all. I have set my context. Okay. So how do you can confirm that the context is set? By running the command called AWS get, yeah, AWS STS get caller identity. Okay. So STS get caller identity. Yeah. Identity. All right. So if I run this command, it should return something, which means that you have set the context. Context is nothing but you are using some user. Okay. So this is my user, and this user has a admin privilege. Okay, remember that this user has admin privilege. Henceforth, it is able to communicate to the secret manager. It is able to communicate to the RDS, which is a Aurora SQL, Aurora MySQL serverless, and version 5.7, 2.0.1. Yeah, that is a version. Okay. All right. So now we have set the context. Now we are good to execute this query. Okay. So let me run this command. I'm doing nothing but I'm just running the script locally. Okay. So I will show you what does how does it gives the outputs. We should see it has successfully added those records into the table, and that is what my expectation here. That is what my expectation here. Here you go, right? It has told that the number of records inserted into the table is 10, and the transaction commit ID it has already committed. What is get committed? Okay, so by default, if you are not using the rollback feature, maybe you can ignore that transaction ID. That is what I have told, right? For example, what do I mean this? Okay, for example, if you are using any rollback feature within your queries, maybe in that case you need to keep these transaction IDs. Okay, if you are not using, for example, if you are not using and you are directly, which means that you are directly committing it. Okay, so in such cases you don't need to provide this transaction ID. Okay, that is a very important point here. Yeah. All right, so now time to verify whether the data is inserted into this table or not, okay? So before I executed this table was very empty, right? Yeah, you see it was empty earlier. Now we have updated, let me run the command. So let me run the select star from package, okay, for your information. And let's see what does, this is telling. Here you go. It has put in the, these records, okay? So this is the package name and package version, okay? Maybe that is what I was trying to help you here, okay? So in the for loop, we are creating the array of records, okay, dynamically, all right? But in real applications cases, maybe, all the records need to be inserted would be, you will be getting from any kind of clients or any kind of application again, yeah? And those data has to be wrapped in the form of array, and then you have to put in, like this, yeah? You have to put in as a parameters, yeah? Parameter set, okay? If I can select this here, right? So this is where nothing but, you will be putting array. The SQL query, again, you should be very careful while I am explaining this, okay? So this is the nothing but my SQL query. Parameter is nothing but, parameter is nothing but these parameters, okay? That is packages and package version, okay? That is the parameters. All right, so and here you go, right? We have seen that, our 30, all the 10 records has been inserted in just like that, yeah? All right. So this is one method. This is the one method that you can try to communicate to your RDS with using this code. Anyways, it has the another set of data as well. I will show you the another one, and maybe we will go to the next one that is using the how to run these commands with using Lambda as well. Yeah. So that also I will show you. Basically, let me comment this part because I don't want to run this again. I'm going to show you the another different code again. So let's see the different one. Yeah, so I'm going to comment that now, and I'm going to open the another interesting one, which is the above part. Okay, let's say if you want to insert the batch. Okay, so maybe batch is the next option. That's the next good option that I would like to show you. Yeah, I'm going to comment. So why I'm doing this commenting and commenting in the sense because I just wanted to run the particular part. Okay, since it's a demo and I just wanted to run, show you only those parts. Okay, and that is the only reason that I'm commenting the certain parts and I'm executing the only parts. Yeah, only the required parts. Yeah. All right. So we have commented the last part, and we have, if you see, I have uncommented only the batch part, okay? Now I need to do one changes, okay? As I was explaining earlier. See here, what we are doing is we are building a query called insert into the table in a batch format, okay? Batch format is nothing but, again, it's a same query. If you see here, it is doing the same query, okay? It is an insert into the table, and these are the column names and the values equal to the values of the respective column names, okay? Finally, I'm building an array of parameters, yeah? That is parameters of a name with the name, package name, and the package versions, and values will be respective values, okay? And finally, we are executing a command called batch execute statement, which is a wrapper function, okay? And finally, this function, I have defined it bit above, and I need to edit this one, okay? So why I'm doing this one? Because, because now we are not using the rollback feature, right? As I was telling, if you are only using the rollback feature, then only you have to mention the transaction ID, or else it is not required, yeah? And that was the reason I'm just using the segregation between these, okay? So earlier we saw, if you want to use the rollback feature of the API, so in that case, maybe you need to use that format, which I showed you earlier. If you want to use without that, or just directly run the commands, yes, this is the straightforward way that you can try to use, all right? Okay, maybe I just need to go back and do a control Z, stack set, and just remove this. Yeah, I will just do this. And here you go. Let me save this. And now what is the command that I'm running, which is uncommented. Okay, so this is the uncommented one. So here we are inserting into the package, but this time, I'm creating the records package name. So if you see the package names, under the package name, you should see the value something like, package 1 to 10 and package version 1 to 10. Okay, that is the value we need to see it there. Yeah, let me save it and run this one. Yeah. Okay, but this time, we are executing the batch execute command, which is not using the rollback feature. Okay, so here you go. It has ran successfully, right? If I show here that it has ran the command successfully, and the records should be updated in our table. Let's see. Okay, till now we saw only 10 records. Now I should see 20 records. I'm executing select start from package command. Yeah, so here you go, right? Now it has the version 1, 10, 2, 3, blah, blah, okay? Nothing but record has been doubled almost. And how is the record is been getting pushed, okay? It is pushing from from my laptop only. All right, okay, so we are good here. Now I'm going to show you the another code. For example, if you want to insert, till now I was showing you only the, I was showing you only the, maybe, no, I was showing you only the batch one, okay? let's say batch is not your requirement, yeah. Under the hood, let's say batch is caters all the needs, but in certain cases, if you want to use only the single insertion, in the sense single row insertion in one shot, okay, this is the command that you need to run again, yeah. Maybe I will put it here, and here you go. I'm uncommenting only the parameterized, get operations, okay, for example, okay. Okay, so now till now we will see the batch one. I will show you the another insertion above. Okay, so let me, okay, here you go. See, let me show you the another command called. Let's say you want to, let's say you want to get the data from the RDS database, yeah. Then you might need to run the API query, something like this. Okay, so here we are using the execute statement. Okay, we are not using batch. Okay, that is for your information. Okay, so this is the SQL command. Maybe you are good at this one. Select star from the data table called package, where the column name equal to this is the column name, and the value of this package name is this is where I have kept, and the SQL parameter is something like this. Okay, again SQL parameter I was saying earlier, that is a least okay, that is a least parameter. Okay, and finally we are executing the execute statement command and finally getting the response. Okay, in the response we are retrieving the so response is again, okay, so response is again a dictionary. In that dictionary we are getting the record values. Okay, so let me run this command and let's see. Okay, here you go. It has not retrieved anything. Why? Because there is no records like package -2, but if I make it package 2, which is already there, let me see if I can retrieve this. Yeah, here you go. Yeah, so we have the package record. So which means that this command is working. Yeah, and this is how you can you can get the data from the RDS cluster database with using this way, the parameterized gateway. Yeah, this is a parameterized get. Yeah. All right. Now we go to the next demo, that is how to get all the records. Okay, maybe that is very interesting for your information, and we can do that. I will command this code. I will command this code. Yeah, I will command this code and I will uncommand the above one. Yeah. Finally, I will show you this code. That's only one operation in the Lambda. Okay, that is just these are the demo. This is just a demo so that you can get started with this. Yeah. So let me do get all. All right, and let me say this. Okay, now what we are doing is I'm executing a command called select star from all. Okay, nothing but see, instead of running this command from here, I'm running with using the API for your information. Okay, how to do that? We can do like this. Okay, so let me run this. It should show us 20 records. Here you go. It has retrieved all the 20 records. Okay, so this is how we can interact with using the data API for whenever you want to get all the records from your table. And let's go to the one more layer called how to insert a single record. Yeah, for example, yeah, so that's the last command. So let's say you want to insert parameterize. I think we have already executed that package 2 and parameterized insert, that is execute statement. Okay, all right, so we are pretty much we have shown you this one. Anyways, this command is already been shown. Maybe let me show you that parameterized get, parameterized insert, parameterized get. Yeah, so we have seen the parameterized get. Yeah, so this is the next statement that I would like to show you, that for example, this is like when you want to insert one record at a time, so how we can run that. So this is the way that you can do it. Let me show you. This is the final demo from the local, then we will go directly. Yeah, we will go directly from there. So here we will go directly from how we can run from the AWS Lambda. So now here again the SQL query. So let me walk you through this query. Insert into the package table where the columns are package name and package version, and the values is nothing but the values being put in the SQL parameter list. In that one, the package name is, this is the package value 2, which is not there, right? Earlier we saw the error there, and now it should be inserted. Okay, that is what the aim of this one. Let me save this and I will execute this. Okay, so it should be inserted. That is what I mean. Here you go. The record is updated. Yeah. All right. So now we have seen like how we can try to interact with the data with using the data API against RDS Aurora serverless database. Yeah. Now that's the next layer. Okay, that's the next aim of the topic is like how I can how I can execute this command from the Lambda. Maybe that is the right use case. Okay, So local runtime is just to make sure, just to help you to get started with this APIs. But let's say the real-time usage will happen when you put it in a serverless only. Yeah. What is a serverless here? Serverless is nothing but here our AWS Lambda. Yeah. So here I'm doing nothing there. Okay. So what I do is I will go to the Lambda, I will create a Lambda, I will execute this command, and we will see that this command getting executed, and it will retrieve all the records present in the table. Okay. That is the main aim of the next step. Okay. So before that, I need to make this command working in the Lambda. Okay. This is currently it won't work. So I will just make it Lambda working. So for that case, what I have to do is I have to create this handler function there. I will go again and I will create the handler function here. Yeah. So while I create the handler function, let me put the handler function here. Yeah. And then I will shift these these records just a line front, because we have to follow the indentation of the Python, right? And that is what I'm going to do it here now. And here it goes. So let me put it indentation of something next one. All right. So here you go. This is code is this script is now ready to be used at the Lambda layer. Okay, at the Lambda level. Now till now we have seen all the API transaction that we can do against the database with using local one. Now let's go to the next layer. That is how we can do these steps in the Lambda. Now I'm in the AWS Lambda, which is again in the same region. Okay, you try to be in the same region. For example, if your RDS is in the Mumbai region, then you should keep your Lambda in the same region called Mumbai as well. So here I'm going to create a function, right? This is from the scratch. Okay, I have not tested this one. Let me call it as a my lab. Yeah, so let me call this is my lab, and I will choose a runtime equal to Python 9, Python 3.8, and architecture is 3.86. That is a 64-bit only, and then use the existing role. So I have again, so all the roles I have using is just a admin role. Okay, so for example, if you want to implement this use case in the production, maybe you need to refine your ARN. Okay, roles. Okay, all right. Now let me create a dummy Lambda. Yeah, so it takes just, but it takes only a few minutes. Yeah, here you go. It not even taken minutes, but it has taken only the seconds. Okay, and here you go. But the code has the Lambda is successfully created. But is it good? Is it good to consume? I don't think so that it is good to consume. Why? Because we have to change the further configurations in this one. What are the configurations I need to change? I need to change the general configuration in that one. I have to change the memory. Let me give the memory. Let me increase the memory to something like for example 124. Yeah, maybe 1 GB. And the ephemeral, let it. I'm fine with it. Only the 512 MB. And here let me make it as a 15 minutes, which is the maximum run of your Lambda. Why I'm keeping this, because only 30 seconds may not be enough for for the Lambda to execute that query, right? And that's the reason I'm making this change, and we are good, right? Now we should be good, and we directly change the code now. So if I go to the code, so this is the default code which Lambda creates whenever you are spinning up a Lambda. But in this case, we want to copy this code, right? So let me select all this one, and I will put this code here, right? You can do this Lambda creation with using infrastructure as a code, or any other method like CLI, or API, both of the APIs, or CloudFormation template, Terraform. There are many ways, right? You can do that. But this is a demo, and that's the reason I focus more on the functionality than the managing the infrastructure. To manage the infrastructure, I also have the multiple videos on the infrastructure as a code. Maybe you can refer those and try to connect your dots okay, to manage these infrastructure. All right, so I will deploy this Lambda. In the sense, I'm deploying this latest code into the Lambda. Lambda is anyways, it is ready. Yeah. And that's all. So right now we are ready to execute this Lambda. So in this Lambda, let me tell you before I run this code. So here what we are doing here. We are doing nothing but we are running the execute statement to retrieve all the records. Okay, nothing but just to retrieve all the records. And this time we are doing from the Lambda. Okay, that is the main aim of my demo. This is the final stage of my demo. Okay, so here let me go back to the picture again. So in this one, where were we? We were here. Okay, so till now I have shown you like how we can invoke those APIs from the local laptops or local desktops, right? With using the any kind of script. Okay, in this one Python is a script. Now how we can do those operations from the Lambda. So this is the way that you can do it. Yeah. So for that case we have created the Lambda. Now it is time to test the Lambda. Yeah. Let me create a test event called test and say this event. Yeah. Let the event JSON input is anyways fine. Anyways, we are not using the event or the input to this Lambda. Okay. And now let me run this code. I have clicked on the test. Okay. So it is It has executed it. You see, it has executed the code and it has retrieved the values, right? If you go here, right, it has executed and you see it has retrieved the values like, string package 2 has the data like package 1, and package 1 equal to version 1, right? And that is the data, we have successfully retrieved from even from the Lambda. Okay, now you can schedule this Lambda. Maybe you can use the API of this Lambda and try to use that Lambda from the other side, maybe in the amplify side, or maybe this can be used as a API and all. Okay, so there are many ways that you can use this Lambda in this case. Okay, all right, so now I have pretty much covered the multiple the actions in this video, multiple configurations I have shown in this video. Okay, so first especially we looked. Okay, so finally it's a recap. Okay, finally it's a time to recap. Okay, so in this video let me recap. Now this is the video where I have shown you like how we can use data API, which is available only with the specific versions of RDS, Aurora, MySQL and PostgreSQL versions. Especially I showed you in the 5.7 version, which is a 2.7.0 version engine which is being chosen, which is a serverless one, and that is the RDS I have spinned up. And then I have written a code which can consume the data APIs to do the interaction with the RDS. When I say interaction, in the sense we did see get operations, and we also seen insert into the table, and also we saw the batch insertion, and also we saw the how to do the batch insertion with taking care of the the errors. Okay, that is the rollback, and the the committing method mode also we have seen from the local executions. Okay, and then also finally I wrapped that code into a Lambda handler file, and I created a Lambda and I uploaded that Lambda into this here, and we executed that Lambda with using the dummy event. I created a test event and executed locally, and I see that the Lambda is executing and it is retrieving the code. Okay, it is retrieving the data present in this RDS table. Yeah, and that's all for now. I have shown you the things to be shown in this video. This should be a kind of a starter for you, and you can leverage this capability like data APIs, and can be used for many serverless, many ways of building your own serverless APIs and all. Yeah, all right. And that's all for now. Thank you very much for watching my videos. Can request please do subscribe my channel. That would really encourage me a lot. So with that note, thank you. Thanks a lot.